Greetings YouTube, this is Toy Customizer Wake Angel 2001 presenting Bacon Lover 300's commission. That's right, a little Scourge keychain! Yeah, I don't get these very often anymore. It's a little polymer clay keychain in the image of everyone's favorite desperate Scourge the Hedgehog, complete with evil tiara. And comparing him to my old Sonic keychain, you could see an improvement in style. I like the way I reshaped the spines, where on my old Sonic one, the top of the head's a bit flat. Yeah, but really, you're not here to see the Scourge keychain, are you? You're here to see Robbo the Hedge. Now, the primary difference between Robbo and Sonic's frames is that Robbo's spines are shorter, more like classic Sonic's. So, in order to make all those long spines fit in Robbo's hood, I had to use my X-Acto knife to cut down Sonic's spines. It looks a bit like a hack job, but, you know, once the Sculpey's over it to cover all that horribly mangled spine, it looks very much like Robbo, you know, wearing his hood. So yeah, Robbo the Hedge is very similar to Robin Hood type character. I could go on and on about a biography, but you know, you can always just read the description on the DeviantArt page. So Robbo the Hedge is a lighter shade of blue than Sonic is, and his hood is nice chocolate brown. So yes, the hood is made out of Super Sculpey, so it won't break. And moving on to the body, which was mostly just a repaint job, and the boots being only slightly modified from Knuckles' feet. If it seems like I glazed over a lot of detail, that's largely because, you know, repainting the body and feet is not all that big a deal, but what I did do was completely scratch build the hands. Here's just his left hand. The pose is mostly referenced from Tails' hand. Did I say left hand? This is his right hand. I'm sorry. Long day. So yeah, both of his hands are made. His left hand is made to grip a bow. His right hand made to look like he's pulling back on a bowstring. So let's move on to his accessories, because this Robbo the Hedge does have a couple of accessories. I thought that I had to go out and buy myself a Hawkeye figure from, you know, Marvel Universe, when I stumbled across this little party favor in a local drugstore. It's basically a little miniature crossbow toy, and the bow part is removable, making a nice little Robbo-sized bow and arrow. I did a little bit of filing down on one side so it would fit inside of Robbo's glove, and he can easily wield it, which looks really cool. If you look in his hand, you see he's also holding a little arrow. I figured the giant suction cup dart didn't really look like an action figure accessory as much as the bow did, so that's basically just a toothpick, a little piece of metal for the arrowhead, and some paper. So you know what? Let's bring up a big comparison shot. So here are my two Robbo the Hedge figures. Let's zoom in. Here's the first one that I made. Robbo the Hedge was actually the third custom figure that I ever made. Back then, the only characters that Jazzwares had put out were Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. So, yeah, this guy is pretty old. And considering how old he actually is, he held up pretty well. Special note is that he was made out of a transparent blue Sonic, not a regular Sonic, so that means everything on him, including the eyes and the insides of his ears, are painted. And at the time, I didn't have a light blue paint, so I actually mixed navy blue with white to make his color. So yes, all this time he's mostly held up. But you can probably see a fine crack formed on the side of his head, and another one here on the other side. I haven't felt like it's going to fall apart, it's just that those cracks are there. But considering the age of the figure, that's not that bad, because back then I wasn't as good at just curing the clay. It's It's also using the old polymer clay that I liked to use before. Now I use the Super Sculpey, which I'll show you in a sec. This is also the first time I hand sculpted my own hands. I tried to give him some dynamic finger there. And his little bow accessory. Let's see, set the camera down so I get my hands up in here. And the bow accessory, it goes into his hand. It's designed to go like this. See, it's a toothpick, a couple pieces of clay. You put the toothpick through a hole in his hand till it comes out the other side. Whoop. Then I just put the other one here. Yeah, it's not much. Just the first little accessory I made for a toy. So remember, this is number 3. It was Scourge the Hedgehog, Dr. Finitivis, and then this guy. Can you believe me? I mean, it's only my 3rd ever custom figure, and I already think I could take over the world. I'm making accessories. I'm making gloves from scratch. I was an ambitious little tyke. Although that was like maybe a little over a year ago. Okay, so here's my new O the Hedge. As you can see, the colors are probably quite a bit different. That's because I used some actual light blue paint. This time he has an arrow. It's not much. It's a toothpick with some paper feathers, and that's a piece of metal I used to make an arrowhead, though it's probably almost invisible. Yeah, hopefully now it'll come up a little clearer, and you can, yeah, you can just see the little arrowhead there. The bow is probably the most noticeable thing here. I'm going to, hang on a moment, I need both hands. Let's set a prop on the camera. That's too much. How's that? That works. Yeah, that just about works. Okay, so yeah. So as you can see, he's actually holding a new little accessory. This guy uses a lot of the same techniques, except he uses my Super Sculpey instead of polymer Sculpey. And oh, if you notice, the old Robbo stands with the aid of little heels on his feet, but this new Robbo stands perfectly fine without them. So go me. Probably just because this Sculpey is maybe slightly lighter, or maybe because I cut off more material since I had an X-Acto knife when I made this guy. The other guy used a steak knife. Ah yes, when I used steak knives to cut action figures. I remember I gave my finger a pretty deep cut at the time. Glad that doesn't happen very often anymore. So yeah, here's the bow accessory, and this time you can just, yeah, there we go. You can take the bow out, and it's a toy bow. It works, and the hand is sculpted to hold it. It's a pretty nifty little thing. And the arrow, he's holding it pretty well, although it's mostly balanced in there. There it goes, it finally fell out. When I made that hand, I made it in a pose as if he was holding a bowstring with it. So it wasn't made with the intention of holding onto the arrow securely, but you can balance it in there, and that's pretty nifty. So yeah, new Rob with the bow and arrow. So this is Toy Customizer Wake Angel 2001 signing off.